Greetings to you all in the marvelous name of Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Welcome to Bible God Answers. I hope that these videos are helpful to you and this series is helping you to understand the book of Revelation and the things that are going to happen in the end times and what is the eschatological meaning or eschatological things that are going to happen in the future that we have seen one by one. So we have looked at the last session. We have looked at what are the seven seals of book of Revelation. When we look at the book of Revelation, we have seen the seven seals of book of Revelation. If you look at the first seal, it is talking about the Antichrist and rule of Antichrist. Second seal, it is talking about the war and warfares. And third seal, it is talking about the famines. And the fourth seal, it is talking about the death by sword, or death by war, or death by plagues, or death by famines. So fifth seal, it is talking about the counting number of the martyrs, and it is talking about the martyr souls and how the martyr souls are pleading to God to judge the whole world. So if you look at the sixth seal, it is talking about the great earthquake and the changes in the heavenly bodies. That is the changes that are happening in the sun, moon, and stars. And we have seen that. And if you look at the seventh seal, if the seventh seal opens, the seven trumpets will be open with the thunders and with the lightning, and with the seven angels are coming with the seven trumpets. So in that manner, we have looked at the seven seals. So if you look at the seven seals, we have gone through the enlightenment that can see that seven seals are connected with the seven trumpets, and seven trumpets are connected with the seven bowls. So if you open the seventh seal only, then seven trumpets will be open, and if you open the seventh trumpet only, then only seven bowls will be open up. So if you look at the seven trumpets, today we are going to look at the seven trumpets, and especially on the first four trumpets, because I have divided into two parts: first four trumpets as one part, and last three trumpets as another part. Today we will go into the first four trumpets as a first part, and second part we will come with the last three trumpets. So in the second episode, or in the next episode, we will look into the last three trumpets. So first we will look into the first four trumpets as the first part, and we will go through it. So if you look at the seven trumpets, are very much described in Revelation chapter 8 verses 6 to chapter 9 verses 19. So if you look at there we can see the six trumpets, how they are blowing, and how the things are there. And if you look at the chapter 11 verses 15 to 19, there we can see the seventh trumpet that is going to blow, and seven bowls will be coming up. So the seven trumpets are the contents of seventh seal that was opened up by Jesus Christ. We have seen in the last video. And so if you look at the Revelation chapter 8 verses 1 to 5, we can come to know that if you open the seventh seal only, then the seven trumpets will be coming up. So look at that, Revelation chapter 8 verses 1 to 5. So when the Lamb opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven for about half an hour. Then I saw the seven angels who stand before God, and seven trumpets were given to them. So and another angel came and stood at the altar with a golden censer, and he was given much incense to offer with the prayers of all the saints on the golden altar before the throne. And the smoke of the incense with the prayers of the saints rose before God from the hand of the angel. Then the angel took the censer and filled it with fire from the altar and threw it on the earth. And there were peals of thunder, rumbling, and flashes of lightning, and an earthquake. So in that manner, the climax of seventh seal will be opened up, and the climax of thunders, rumbling, and flashes of lightning, and an earthquake, seven trumpets, seven angels come up with the seven trumpets and started to blow one by one, and the disasters are going to happen on the earth. When the trumpet was blown in the heaven, then the then the disaster has happening in the on the earth. So first we have divided into two parts. First four trumpets as a natural disasters, because these are naturally going to happen. These disasters are going to happen in a very natural way, and natural disasters, we have seen a lot of natural disasters, earthquake and tsunamis, and so many other things. We have seen that natural disasters. So how the natural disasters listed up there in the first four trumpets, and the next three trumpet, it is as a supernatural disasters, because these are coming from the supernatural power, or these are coming up from the demonic powers. So there we can see the demonic logos, and four bad angels, or four evil angels that are going to conquer the world and destroy the things that are there in the world. So we will look into the first part of the seven trumpets as natural disasters. One by one we will go into the trumpet, and we will come to know what is happening in the seven trumpets, and why those are symbolically represent some of the things. So the first trumpet. So if you when we look at the first trumpet, it destroys all the greenery life that is on the earth. So we look at Revelation chapter 8 verses 6 to 7. So 6 to 7. Now the seven angels who had the seven trumpets prepared to blow them. Everyone is ready. Seven angels are ready with the seven trumpets and ready to blow the thing. And the first trumpet is blown up. Let's see. The first angel blew his trumpet, and there followed a hail and fire mixed with blood. These were thrown upon the earth, and a third of the earth was burned up, and a third of the trees were burned up, and all green grass was burned up. So in that manner, so first trumpet, when the first angel sounds the first trumpet, the world experience that there will be third of the earth was burned up, and third of the trees were burned up, and third of the greenery, all the greenery, or the green grass was burned up. So if you look at that, if you look at the first trumpet, it is destroying all the greenery life that is on the earth. Greenery life that we see as green, we have seen we will see as green as crops, different crops, as a greenery life, and plants, and planetary plants, and different grass. So we will look at all the greenery life will be destroyed. So when the greenery life will be destroyed, we won't have the food. We won't have the sufficient food, because third part of the greenery life will be destroyed in that first blow of the trumpet. So in that manner, earth will lose the greenery life, lose the plants, trees, and whatever the plants that are giving the fruits to us, and whatever the crops that are giving food to us. And if you look at the whole worldwide, they are all depending upon the greenery life, because of the fruits, because of the food that they are getting, grains, because of the wheat grains, and different grains we are getting from the land of this greenery life. So if the first blow of the trumpet, if the first trumpet was blown, then the greenery life will be destroyed, and there is a scarcity of food, and there will be a scarcity of food, and there will be a famine that makes the mankind to be starved for the food. So in that manner, if this first trumpet is very much similar to the one of the plague that happened in the Egypt. If you look at the Exodus chapter 9 verses 22 to 26, then the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand towards heaven, so that there may be hail in all the land of Egypt, on man and beast, and every plant of the field in the land of the Egypt. So it happened in the time of Moses, and it happened on the place of Egypt. It literally it only happened in the Egypt, but now it is going to happen in the whole world. All the plant of the life will be destroyed. If you look at that, every plant of the field in the land of Egypt. So every plant of the field will be destroyed on this earth when the first trumpet will be blown up. So if you look at verse 23, then Moses stretched out his staff towards heaven, and the Lord sent thunder and hail, and fire ran down to the earth, and the Lord rained upon the land of Egypt. There was hail and fire flashing continually in the midst of hail, very heavy hail, such as had ever been in all the land of Egypt since it became a nation. So the hail struck down everything that was in the field in all the land of Egypt, both men and beast. And the hail struck down every plant of the field and broke every tree of the field. Only in the land of Goshen, where the people of Israel were, there was no hail. So when the hail was dropped out, when the first angel sound up, there will be hail, and there will be fire mixed with the blood coming upon the heaven, and it destroys all the plant life on the earth, or it destroys all the greenery life that is on the earth, and it is going to destroy every plant of the field. It happened in the Egypt. It is going to happen in the coming days and the end times. That is going to happen in the end times. That is going to happen when the first trumpet is going to blow. So in that manner, it is quite similar to the Egyptian plague. The Egyptian plague. It is just like a similarity to the seventh plague of Egypt. So in the first trumpet, we have seen that greenery life will be destroyed, and there will be no food. Scarcity of food will be there, because third part of the greenery life will be destroyed. So third part of the greenery life will be destroyed. It means that there will be scarcity of food. There will be no crops, and there will be no fruits. So which are mainly source for the food for the humankind. So these are going to be destroyed. So in that manner, mankind is going to be starved for the food, and they are going to be die with the food. Die with the starvation of the food. So that is about the first trumpet and second trumpet. If you look at the second trumpet, Revelation chapter 8 verses 8. So the second angel blew his trumpet, and something like a great mountain burning with fire was thrown into the sea, and third of the sea became blood. A third of the living creatures in the sea died, and a third of the ships were destroyed. So what is going to happen on the earth, or what is going to happen on the seas? We can see that in the second trumpet, that when the second trumpet was blown, then the sea and oceans are going to become blood, and going to become poisonous, so that the living creatures in the sea and the oceans will going to be destroyed, will going to be die, just because of this poisonous water that is contained in the oceans and seas. And third part of the ships were wrecked, and ships were destroyed. So the ships which are taking the food items, or which are taking the materials from one place to another place, one country to another country, so they are going to be destroyed, so that there is no traveling on the sea. So there is no boarding on the sea. So if there is no boarding on the sea, there is no transportation of food between the countries. There will be no transportation between the countries. There will be no transportation of food between the countries, so that it destroys the third part of the ships, and it destroys the third part of the living creatures that are in the sea and oceans. So see, my dear friends, it is going to be very dangerous and very dangerous in the end times that is going to happen in the future, that will make the mankind to live in a very pathetic condition, very chaotic condition, very dynamic condition, very confused manner. In that manner, man will not survive on this earth. So most of the countries and most of the world is depending upon the seafood. So most of the world are depending upon the seafood, fishes, and the things, the living creatures that are there in the sea and oceans. So most of the people in the world are depending upon the oceans and seas for the sake of the food. So if this mountain, or if you look at that, something like a great mountain burning with fire was thrown into the sea. So if you look at nowadays, seas and oceans are becoming poisonous, and causing the living creatures to die, living creatures that are in the sea and oceans to be and die. So my dear friend, it is going to be very starved time. At the time of end times, mankind will starve for the food, will by destroy by looking at the creatures, or by looking at the living creatures that are in the sea and that are there in the ocean. Those are that will make the mankind to be so much stubborn. If you look at afterwards verses, we can come to know that. So when the second trumpet is going to blow, then there will be third part of the sea, or the living creatures that are in the sea and oceans will be destroyed, and third part of the ships transportation on the sea will be no more at the time of end times, when the second trumpet is going to blow. So it is quite similar to the first plague in the Egypt. It is quite similar to the first plague in the Egypt that happened during the time of Moses, when God commanded Moses to go to the Egypt and release the Israelites from the slavery under the Egyptians. So if you look at Exodus chapter 7 verses 20 to 21, Moses and Aaron did as the Lord commanded. In the sight of Pharaoh and the sight of his servant, he lifted up the staff and struck the water in the Nile, and all the water in the Nile turned into blood. So on the fish in the Nile died, and the Nile tanked, so that the Egyptian could not drink water from the Nile. There was blood throughout all the land of Egypt. So if you look at the second trumpet, there we can see that the fishes will be turned into blood, and there is the fishes that are there in the fish in the Nile died. So my dear friends, there is no food for the Egyptians at that time. So because Egyptians depends upon the food of the sea, food of the Nile, that is about the river food. So my dear friends, it is quite similar to the Egyptians plague, and that is going to happen in the second trumpet. So when the second trumpet is blown up, the seas and oceans, and the living creatures that are there in the sea and oceans, and the ships that are traveling from one place to another place, the ships that are transporting the food from one place to another place, they are going to be destroyed, and there will be scarcity of food to the human mankind. In that manner, God is going to judge the whole unbelieving world with the righteous judgment. So my dear friends, if you look at the third one, the first one is all about the greenery life will be destroyed. The first trumpet, greenery life will be destroyed. Second trumpet, oceans or seas, or the living creatures that are in the seas and oceans will be destroyed, and the ships, third part of the ships will be destroyed in the second trumpet. So if you look at the third trumpet, third trumpet, there will be destruction, or there will be freshwater lakes and rivers will going to be poisoned, So if you look at Revelation chapter 8 verses 10, it says like this: the third angel blew his trumpet, and a great star fell from heaven, blazing like a torch, and it fell on the third of the rivers and on the springs of water. The name of the star is Wormwood. A third of the waters became wormwood, and many people died from the water because it had been made bitter. So, my dear friends, if you look at the third trumpet, we can see that freshwater lakes and rivers are going to be polluted, with the poison, polluted with the bitterness, polluted with the deadly poisonous things that can be caused by the wormwood, that can be caused by the star fell from the heaven, and that is named as the wormwood over here. What is wormwood here? So what is wormwood here, my dear friends? So wormwood is a shrub-like plant, that gives the qualities. What does it has? It has a very bad qualities, like it is very bitter, extremely bitter, and secondly, it is very poisonous, and thirdly, it is very deadly. If you drink the water that is poison, or that is mingled with the wormwood, and that is mingled with the bitterness and poison, eventually we will die. So in that manner, it is saying that many people will die from the water because it had been make it bitter. So this wormwood, if you look at the botany, many of the students will know about the botany. So botany is the study that talks about the plants, is the study that talks about the plants, and it will make a survey, or it will make a things that are the qualities that they have in the different plants. So if you look at the botany, wormwood is a shrub-like plant which has the poisonous qualities, which has the bitterness qualities, and which has the deadliness qualities. So if you look at there, so in that manner, when the star fell on the rivers and freshwater lakes, that is drinkable water, So 99% of the water that is available on the earth is not drinkable. It's not drinkable. It is in the form of ice, or it is in the form of other forms. But when it comes to the 1% only, 1% of the 1% of the whole water will be available to drink, and even that is available in the freshwater lakes and some of the rivers. But so when comes to this third trumpet, when the third trumpet will blown up, the star, or the named as wormwood, is fell on the freshwater lakes and rivers. So it is quite similar to the Egyptian plague. If you look at the Exodus chapter 7 verses 21, it says like this: and the fish in the Nile died, and the Nile stank, so the Egyptian could not drink water from the Nile. There was blood throughout all the land of Egypt. They could not drink water from the Nile because the water of the Nile became poisonous, became bitterness, became deadly. So in that manner, the Egyptians could not able to drink the water from the river Nile, the longest river in the Egypt. So there was no water. There is no sufficient fresh water that can be drinkable to them. So my dear friends, it is going to repeat. The history is going to repeat. What happened in the Moses time? What happened at the time of Pharaoh and Moses time? It is going to be repeated in the when the trumpets are going to blow. So when the third trumpet blows, freshwater lakes and rivers will be destroyed, and there will be no drinkable water. There will be no scarcity of drinkable water. So first we have seen scarcity of food from destroying the greenery life, and from the destroying the seafood. Thirdly, we are seeing destroying the freshwater lakes and poisoning them, poisoning the rivers and freshwater lakes, and there is no drinkable water. Scarcity of water, scarcity of food, and scarcity of water. Both for the vegetarians, both for the non-vegetarians, there will be scarcity. So that's what the first trumpet is about, the destroying the greenery life. Second trumpet is all about the destroying the sea and oceans, that are living creatures that are in the sea and oceans, and also ships going to be destroyed. And third thing is that it is going to be fresh waters and rivers are going to be poisoned. River going to be become bitter. The water became bitter and could not able to drink the water. So that is going to happen in the at the third trumpet. Fourth trumpet. So if you look at the fourth trumpet, Revelation chapter 8 verses 12, the fourth angel blew his trumpet, and a third of the sun was struck, and a third of the moon, and a third of the stars, so that a third of their light might be darkened, and third of the day might be kept from the shining, and likewise a third of the night. So if you look at that, so when the fourth trumpet was blown up, there will be darkness. There will be darkness. The sun won't give the shining. The moon and the stars won't give the shining. They will become the sun will become the dark, and the moon will become the red, and stars will not give the light to the earth. So if you look at that, third of the sun was struck, third of the moon, and third of the stars. So sun, moon, stars. So the third part of the sun and moon and stars will be going to be struck, and they are not going to give the light to the whole world. They are not going to give the light to the earth. When they did not give the light, there will be darkness over there, all over the earth. There will be uttermost darkness. It is quite similar to the plague in the Exodus. If you look at Exodus chapter 10 verses 21 to 23, then the Lord said to Moses, stretch out your hand towards heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, a darkness to be felt. So Moses stretched out his hand towards heaven, and there was pitch darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days. They did not see one another, nor did anyone rise from his place for 3 days. But all the people of Israel had light where they lived. So if you look at the contrast, so where the Egyptians are there will be darkness. Where the Israelites are there was light. So here you can see that when the fourth trumpet was blown up, there will be darkness all over the earth. So at the time of Moses, it happened by the Moses through the help of God, and it is going to happen in the end times. It is going to happen in the time of when the fourth trumpet is going to be blown in the tribulation period. So my dear friends, if you look at that, there will be pitch darkness in the land of Egypt. It happened in the history. It is going to happen in the future. It happened in the history. It happened in the past. So it is going to happen in the future. We have the evidence that there was darkness in the land of Egypt. There was 10 plagues that literally happened in the land of Egypt. So my dear friends, in the same manner, it is going to happen in the future. We have a lot of biblical evidence that shows that it is going to happen, and it happened, and it is going to happen in the future. My dear friends, when the fourth trumpet was blown up, there will be uttermost darkness all over the world, and there the people could not able to stand, or could not able to see one another, could not able to do their works, could not able to earn the money, could not able to do anything because of the darkness, because of the pitch darkness that they have. Because when the darkness is there, we cannot do anything else. You cannot do anything. So my dear friends, so in these four trumpets, God is going to pour his wrath upon the people, those who are going to live in the tribulation period. First trumpet, it is going to destroy greenery life. Second trumpet is going to destroy the life in the oceans and seas. and the third trumpet is going to destroy the water, the fresh water that is there in the freshwater lakes and rivers, and it is going to be poisoned. And the fourth trumpet, it is going to be darkness, uttermost darkness or pitch darkness all over the world, so that the survival of mankind will be difficult at the time of tribulation period. So altogether there is a scarcity of food, both for the vegetarians and non-vegetarians. There will be scarcity of water, drinkable water, and there will be darkness where we could not do anything, where we could not see anything, and where we could not do anything. In that manner, God is going to pour His wrath upon the unbelieving world with the righteous judgment, and He is going to judge the people with the righteousness. My dear friends, so I would like to conclude with these four trumpets, and we will look into the last three trumpets in the next episode. So, my dear friends, these four trumpets are very, very dangerous, are very natural in the sense, because natural disasters, because it is going to destroy the greenery life, it is going to destroy the seas and oceans, and it is going to destroy the fresh waters and rivers, and it is going to destroy the sun, moon and stars. So these are all natural disaster that is going to happen. So it has been already started, because we have seen as a scientific manner, it has been already started. There is a pollution everywhere. So there is going to be more worse than now. It is going to be more worse than now, my dear friends. So that's what the Bible says talks about the tribulation period, how the judgments are going to be taking place in the tribulation period, and how God is going to pour His wrath upon the unbelieving world. So, my dear friends, be careful and be ready, to take up in the rapture of the church, and be ready to take it with the Lord and forever and ever, and live the life with happiness. May the Lord give that kind of happiness to those who are in the will of God. Amen. 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 May God bless you.